How's it going today, everybody, and welcome back to Shaner's Mechanic Life. A little while ago, Milwaukee rolled through town with their 100th anniversary celebration sale, and I picked up a few things that I've been having my eye on for a little while. This is one of them. I picked up the Milwaukee Packout 106-piece metric and SAE 3/8 and 1/4 inch socket set. Up until now, I haven't used Milwaukee ratchets or sockets, so I thought I'd give them a try. And this 4 flat sides kind of interests me, because after all, I do a lot of service calls on roadsides, loading docks, parking lots, less than level surfaces. The last thing you want to do is have a socket roll away on you and get out of your reach. Well, let's flip this over and I'll show you what's included. So it comes with a 1/4 inch and 3/8 ratchet, extensions, universal joint. It's got the slim head profile, 4-degree arc swing, and the 90 tooth design. So it's a nice fine tooth. You can always get that next tooth in tight spots. As well, what kind of interests me is the flush directional lever. Recessed down compared to the rest of the head, less likely to get in the way and get bound up. It's quite a comprehensive set, really, when you look at it. 1/4 inch sockets, the standard, you got from 5/32 all the way up to 9/16. The 3/8, you start at 1/4 inch and you go all the way up to 1 inch. Metric sockets go from 5 millimeters, looks like all the way through and no skips, up to 15 millimeters. The 3/8, you start at 6 millimeters, yeah, it looks like no skips, all the way through 19 millimeters. Then your deep sockets, 5/32 to 9/16, and 5 millimeters, all the way up to 15 as well. The 3/8, 1/4 inch to 7/8, and the metric, 6 millimeters. Yeah, no skips, all the way to 19. You get a 3-inch extension, 6-inch extension, and a universal joint. As well as you got the Packout tray and case. Well, enough reading specs and showing pictures of the case. Let's open this thing up and take a look at it with our own eyes. Oh, zip tie, high security. Get rid of that. Got the typical Packout latches, as well as the lock here. And the moment of truth, let's open her up. More packaging. Okay, I'm just going to pause that, get all this opened up for you. You don't want to watch me open up plastic wrap. Gotta love that new tool smell. Now inside the Packout tray, the metric standards all have their own removable tray, as well as the sockets and universal joints are also removable. All the sizes are engraved. They're not just etched, so you know it's not going to rub off over time. And all the sockets easily come out. You get some socket sets, they snap into place. You almost need a screwdriver to pry them out. These things all easily come out. Now the extensions are all in the standard side. Again, they fit in there nice. And what I like about it is on the shank here, it's got a nice knurled finish. So when you're just spinning it in by hand, it gives you a little bit more grip. I'm going to use this set for a little while, run the ratchets through their paces, all that stuff, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion of what I think about this set. After all, I paid my own money for it. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. Okay, let's take a look at the ratchets. This is the 1/4 inch. It's a fairly short handle. It's got the flat side on the top and bottom there, which is a good feature, because a lot of times you got a socket on there, you're reaching up into a spot where you can't quite see where the head of the ratchet is. When you have your thumb there, at least you know you're pointed in the right direction. And then the teeth of the ratchet, and it's a 90 tooth design. Seems like a very fine tooth. And when you're backing it out, It shouldn't be hard to get it to, get the next tooth. You're not working a socket back and forth, not getting anywhere. And a 3/8, same design. It's got a fairly slim head on it, and it's a 90 tooth design as well. You can hear how fine the teeth are. Now also, when I'm putting these through the paces, I'm going to put some torque on them to make sure that these teeth aren't skipping. And like it showed on the front, you can see the selector recessed down a little bit. Very easy to change it from forward to reverse. So now that everything's unpackaged, let's take them out of the trays a little bit. Let's shut the lid. It's got a little waterproof seal or water resistant seal. Let's latch these and see how well after all, when you're traveling, sometimes everything just doesn't stay upright, and everything has stayed in its home. So far so good. So I'm going to shut this up, put it away, and I'm going to start using this socket set as my daily go-to for a little while, run it through the paces, and when I come back, it's not going to be as new looking, and I'm going to know exactly what I think of this set, and I'll tell you whether it's good or bad or the ugly. So we'll be right back. Well, I'm back after using this set for long enough to give you an honest opinion, and honestly, I don't have anything ugly to say about it. A few goods and bads, but yeah, it's been performing quite well, to tell you the truth. As you can tell, it's not exactly clean anymore. Yeah, I got dirt and grease in the sockets. Nothing out of the ordinary though. Now, as far as the good and bads, everything, the goods is when using the ratchets, I really like the backswing. A lot of sockets you go to be in a tight spot, you're trying to get that nut off, and you almost have to hold on to the socket or else you end up just spinning it left and right. But these, I never had a problem with backing it off enough to get the next turn. I didn't run into any situations where I wish this kit had something but not the other. It just seemed like a very well designed kit. It seemed like everything you need is in it. The case is very compact and easy to carry. It's a very thin case holding all those sockets. Now, a couple of the bad things I have to say about it aren't even really that bad. What I noticed with the square design socket, the way the tray is designed, you got a round end and a square end, and you just go to put the socket back. You don't think about looking what way the socket is. And I know you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right, but it seemed like, at least with me, 95% of the time, I go to put the socket back, it's the wrong way. So you gotta switch it. But, you know, it's not a deal breaker, just a little detail. Another time I was using it, doing a mode door actuator, and I had my 1/4-inch ratchet, and I had the 7mm on. And those of you who've been doing dash work, you go up underneath there, you know, lighting is horrible. You usually only have like one little flashlight set up, and so I had a flashlight set up underneath the dash, stuck to something as a magnet, and I was rolling a bolt out, and with a square edge, you know, you get the reflection off the socket, which is normal, but when you're turning it with a square edge, it almost turned my flashlight into a beacon. So you can see there a little bit, but when you're underneath a dark dash and you're already having a tough time and you're frustrated, it doesn't help your temper at all. But like I said before, not a deal breaker, just an odd little detail. And I'm sure if you get used to it, like I said, I went to put away the wrong way there. No, it still did it. It's something you'll get used to. Now, a couple of the service calls I used this thing on, weather wasn't exactly ideal. It got wet a couple times, and when I got back to the shop, basically I'd just bring it in the shop, leave the lid open all night, dry it out, and to tell you the truth, I don't see any hints at anything rusting. You know, it's got some mud on it and stuff like that, but I'm sure you wipe them down with some WD-40. It'll definitely help the longevity of if you're using it out in adverse conditions. I'm going to show you something you can put in any of your socket sets, any of your tool sets to help the moisture issue if, you know, you're using them out in the rain. You know, no one wants to work with rusty tools. Now, all my tool sets that are in blown molded cases that I use on service calls or anything that's really subject to, you know, wet and muddy conditions, I always put something in these, and it does two things: helps keep them dry and helps keep your tools secure when you're driving down the road or carrying them around. I always get a piece of this absorbent matting. Now you got to be careful because some of this will only absorb oil, but that's not what we're after here. We're after basically the cheaper ones that'll absorb water, everything. So what I do, cut a little piece to size, put it in the case, and close it up. And if your tools are wet when you're driving down the road, that'll help absorb some of the moisture in the case, help prevent everything from rusting. Not to mention is you got that little bit of padding in there, really helps keep things secure. Less rattling around, less chance of little bits getting mixed up, stuff like that. Just a little tip, a little thing to help keep your tools clean, dry, and rust-free. Well, that's my review of this socket. Put it away wrong every time. That's my review of the Milwaukee 1/4-inch Packout 3/8 and 1/4-inch socket set. Overall, I'm very happy with it. Would I buy it again? 100%. But just like any tools I buy, unless you're in a rush and you're in a panic that you have to have it right now, just keep an eye out for the sales, keep an eye out on the internet, the flyers, stuff like that. You will always save some money. You just be patient, take your time, and watch for a good deal. Let me know what you think in the comments section. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, notification bell in the bottom right hand corner. That way you get notified when I get new videos coming up. Well, that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good night and keep wrenching.